My name is Amy Fabick, and I'm the director of Home I'm Darling by Laura Wade. So, Home I'm Darling is about a young-ish couple who, for a variety of reasons that you find out, decide that they want the simpler life that the 1950s offered. And this is set in present day, and they set out to create that for themselves. And they build that life for themselves based upon a fantasy and what they want their lives to look like. And it works for a while until circumstances around them start changing. They're a little isolated in some ways, and so that's how it works for a while. But as they begin to bump into the real world and the present day world, things start to crumble because it can't withstand the pressure of society present day. Oh dear. Well, I knew that the July show really needed to be a comedy in order to fit in with the rest of our season. And I really like dark comedy, so I started looking at dark comedies. And I typed in other additional words when I was Googling, like quirky, or unique, or with a plot twist, like phrases like that. And this show kept coming up as one that people really loved. And then it said that it's not usually available for license in the United States, and I love a challenge, so that was truthfully how we ended up with this show. Oh, and then I read it, and I don't normally like reading scripts because they're kind of meant to be seen, not read. But I couldn't actually put it down. I just kept turning, like I read it half in the morning before work, and then I thought about it all day, and then I went home and read the second half. And I really wanted to know what happened, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. It's just kind of a page turner. I mean, I don't want to give this part away because it's a spoiler alert for coming, but the opening of the first scene, I literally said, wait, what? When I read the stage directions at the end of the first scene. I was like, wait, what? And so then I just kind of kept reading because, I mean, honestly, when I read a script, normally after I get past the first scene, I'm like, and I just get frustrated because it's hard to read a script and kind of understand everything that's going on and what it would look like. And so kind of, I had been ruling things out after just a few pages. And that one, it was quite the opposite. It just, after the first few pages, all I wanted was like more. So that, what else? I think the character of Sylvia, who's Judy's mother, I really identified with her in a lot of different ways. And so when she came in, I was like, oh, okay, here's a new character added to the mix because she's very different than anybody else that you had seen in the script so far. So looking at her, and that remains true, that character really captivates the audience, and I think a lot of women will identify with her and her story. I think my favorite line is, you like to clean under things, so there you go, all clean. Well, the set, I really do want to talk about that actually, because I met with Regina Spain, the scenic designer, very early on when I found the script, and she was, well, I think also really found it interesting. And so I said to her, I really want it to look like a dollhouse. And she was like, we can do that. And so we talked about, building a second story and what that entails. And Regina was like, why not do a tri-level? To my thought was, well, you're building it. So no, I'm just teasing. We all did. Everybody pitched in. So I thought, well, yeah, for sure. And that gives, that is kind of a retro look, but I think it gives, I was watching the show last night, and they are really in something the rooms are the size of a real house. I find that magnificent, truly. So this set was built to look like a dollhouse, and Judy and Johnny's rendition of, they're kind of living in this dollhouse. And also confined by what that means, because there's all these rules that keep that intact. As far as the lighting, so the script is somewhat disjointed on purpose. It goes scene to scene, and it actually does go in order, but it spans like a week, and people are in and out, and they're on different days. And I don't know that it super matters when it occurs, but it's very clear that it should occur in a progression, except, and that's a spoiler alert, there's one exception to this. So the passage of time becomes important because you don't want to get the impression that this is all happening, continuously. And so we started playing around with, I don't really like times when there's like a blackout and the state people are just kind of waiting for the next thing. And actually one of our tech designers, Brian Spain, also doesn't either, which I happen to know for a fact. And so we started looking at ways to put in transitions to keep it interesting and keep the audience engaged in the story, even when there was no actual action going on. So we established a set of transitions. So what you see is a scene and then a transition, which is supposed to represent some sort of passage of time into the next scene. And the lighting and the music, we have lovely 1950s music, kind of grounds us into that. I do love, we have one of our songs that we have for the opening and the closing is one of my favorite 1950s songs, but I'm not sure I should really try to sing that for you. Because it truly is very funny. And it is quirky enough that going into opening night, I truly wasn't entirely sure how people would take it. Sense of humor is very personal. And not everybody finds the same things funny. And so I laughed my head off watching this show. However, I knew that was not necessarily going to be the case for everybody. But it turns out it is. People really like it. They really laugh. So one, it is entertaining, but also it makes you think. Like I really hope and I believe that people will be talking about the show afterwards, because when you think about it, it's just weird in a good way. Come see it. It's good weird, not bad weird. So if you like comedies and you just want a lighthearted comedy, you can definitely get this out of this show. And actually, Marty Snarsky, one of our actors, he's been saying that all week. This show is great. If you just want a lighthearted comedy, it works that way. And at the same time, if you're like a thinker and you don't love comedy, and you like meaty stuff, or you really like to think and analyze things, there's plenty for that too. And so I really do think there's something for everybody. I think people that have lived through the 1950s will truly appreciate this script, honestly.
That's what all the cool kids are doing.
You want me to say that?
Yes.
No, I can't. Come. Okay, everybody's looking at me. Marty, hi. Okay, come see our show because it's what all the cool kids, all the cool cats are doing.
What you sing a ling, got your gap, tap, or flip a hop. If fuel a pop, diggle, board a pop, a nickel, kang-a-lang, sit a pop a doodle little, clat of a nap, collect whipper stat, tock, tick tock, whoa, a tick and gap, a fiddle,